Hi, everyone. It's Candace Carl Goldman again from QuantumHealers.com. And I have been poking around the QuantumHealers.com archives. And of course, the archives have been there since 2008, all the way back when I was blessed to be given the blessing of starting the support forum for Dolores Cannon and her students, long before it was even called QHHT, when it was called Dolores Cannon's method of past life regression. But we still have every one of those posts made in all of those years across now really 3 different platforms because of how technology has advanced and evolved. And I'll take a sideways moment to tell you that we're advancing and evolving again, and we're going to have an upgrade pretty soon to bring us kind of up to speed with what's going on with social media and communities like this. But today I have reached back again, all the way back to not 2008 when it started, but 6 years later in 2014. And those of you who are very close to Dolores and know her history know that she passed away that year in October. But I was poking around the archives for a couple of reasons. I've been talking with my good friend and colleague, Mary Truitt, about the beginnings of the Level 3 program. Now, interestingly enough, the Level 3 now this is QHHT, of course. The Level 3 didn't used to be called that. As a matter of fact, it's the third name of what kind of was basically the same program. It started out being called the Recommended Practitioners or the Recommended Dedicated Practitioners or the RDP program. That was its very first name. And for a little while, a hot minute only, it was called the Quantum Healers Ambassadors or the QHHT Ambassador Program, but that didn't last very long. And pretty soon they just simplified it with these numbers, level 1, level 2, level 3. But I found this post, a couple of them, and there aren't scads and scores of posts on the forum directly from Dolores Cannon, but I printed off 2 of them. And I actually printed the earlier one second, so I'm going to be going back and forth with these 2 pieces of paper. But I thought you might be interested in how this all started all the way back in 2014. Okay, so this was the first post. Both of these came very close to each other, and this is from June of 2014. All right. Dear practitioners, as most of you probably already know, Julia and I have been working on something we are calling the Recommended Dedicated Practitioner or the Recommended Practitioner or RDP program. Like I said, it's basically the level 3. Today, I want to talk to you about this program because we are getting ready to officially launch the web page that explains it and begin to take applications from those of you who want to participate. First, I want to tell you why we are doing this. I've been teaching my method of hypnosis since 2002, and now there are many thousands of you out there around the world who have taken my class. But even though there are people out there doing what I do, people still call and email my office and want to have a session with me personally. And I just don't have time to take care of all of them. They want to go to someone who is practicing QHHT just as I have instructed them. They want a personal recommendation, in other words. We know from feedback that we get from clients and even from reading websites that quite several of the practitioners have taken my method and changed it. Some have changed it so much it stops becoming quantum healing hypnosis. We know there are those who add modalities or change portions of my script and procedure until what is being practiced becomes unrecognizable as the method that I taught. And she says they are not getting as good of results. So that is one reason for the program. A practitioner who will be recommended is one who practices my method in its purest form. We also want to know that you as a recommended practitioner are actually having good results. This is a great way to know if you are being pure to my method. One very good way to let us know is to share your session stories right here on the forum. And that remains true today, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing session stories with your colleagues, summaries, parts of them on the forum, helps all of us to know that you're doing the work and you're getting good results. Okay, this is one of the main reasons the forum exists. When you have problems or questions, the moderators and others who are very experienced can help you. And if they don't know how to answer you, they will let me know and I will answer you. Also, I want you to know that it is important to compare notes and stories with others. Keep in mind, you wouldn't even know about QHHT unless I shared my session stories with the world in my books. I truly believe that by sharing these stories, they will work with you on the highest level for healing, just like they do with me. And I believe that's true. And that's something we don't talk about enough. A lot of people are just really shy and they just don't want to do that. But something about putting the sessions out to the world. Now, they don't have to be recordings a la Alba Weinman, or they could be if you wanted to. I have very few of those out there. Most of my clients want to be private all the way. But I have a few. But just to be able to talk about your sessions with other practitioners or with people on social media. All right. We are launching the program today. You can go to my website and then it gives instructions on how to apply to become a recommended dedicated practitioner. Again, that's the level 3 program. Okay, it just kind of changed names. Okay, and here's just one more post I want to read because it was kind of a follow-up, and here it is. Dear practitioners, I wanted to talk to you today just a little bit about the RDP program as more of you are now applying. The first thing I want to emphasize is that it is exactly that, a program. Some of you, I believe, have thought of this as simply sending in a video of one of your sessions and you either then pass or fail. It isn't like that. It is so much more. It really is a program. The RDP mentors and I work with you in reviewing your voice, your technique, your interviewing skills, and your questions during the session. There is a lot of back and forth communication during the program where we fine-tune your skills so that you can be the best QHHT practitioner you can be. And this can take some time. Be patient. You also have to remember that we are not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. We want to help you. You really need to leave any strong ego behind and be willing to accept feedback if your goal is to become RDP. We also want to make sure that you are not mixing methods and keeping the technique pure as I have taught you. This is very important. Remember that this program at its very core exists because I simply do not have the ability to do all the sessions that are requested of me. So it is important that those who are recommended remain as pure as possible to the teachings I provide. This is what being recommended means. It is only 2 weeks until the Reunion and Transformation Conference of 2014. I know many of you are staying to take the advanced class afterwards, and this will really help you and any of you that might be interested in the RDP program. I look forward to spending time with you and hearing about your wonderful sessions. Love, Dolores. Okay, so that advanced class is now, or was then for a while, called level 2. And I'm pretty sure that they're still keeping that designation a level 2. And let's see, I wanted to say something else. Okay. Mary and I are probably going to talk about this a little bit because we were reminiscing about how all of this was working back in 2014. Remember, we were just starting this. Basically, I mean, it was only a handful of months old when Dolores died. And it's really interesting what happened during that very first meeting where we were looking at submitted videos of sessions and how Dolores was looking at the techniques and the interview style and the questions and the session details of those practitioners who sent in those videos. Now, remember back then too, it was really hard if you were around at all doing technology. 2014, it was not easy to send a video at all. As a matter of fact, there were not large file sharing services like there are now. There was no such thing as clouds and storage in that way. And almost everybody either had to have their computer right there, or they had to send in DVD discs or, compact discs. And often a full session wouldn't even fit on one. So the technology hurdles were large. But I do remember the very, very interesting things that I learned as these applications were coming in. And that is, maybe that's a conversation for another day. Let's just say a lot of people definitely got their feelings hurt, and a lot of people definitely didn't read what Dolores said about this isn't a pass or fail. She wanted to work with the people that she would recommend when people would call her office. And of course, it's 11 years since all of that has happened, and things have changed. Of course, things have changed with me in a huge way. And even though I still do absolutely practice QHHT for those who wish to travel to me and Kansas to have it done that way, my emphasis, of course, now is on BQH. Much of what she talks about remaining pure to her method, it's my understanding that that's still happening over in the space of QHHT, and that's fine. And that's absolutely fine. And I talk a lot about the differences and similarities between QHHT and BQH in other videos. Let's just say fantastic results are available in a lot of different ways. And being very pure to Dolores Cannon's QHHT is and can be one of them. It can also be it can also be a hindrance in some ways. I have plenty of session stories that talk about the rigidity of the practitioner being a huge impediment to the healing of the client, because these practitioners can sometimes, even though they're meaning very well, and of course they're wanting to stick to that program, that rigidity sometimes is not in best interest of the client. Won't go into that now. We are evolving as humans. Quantum healing is evolving. We're definitely evolving at quantumhealers.com. But the one thing that we have done since 2008 and that we continue to do to this day is welcome QHHT practitioners. And you will find that you can speak freely on our forum. You can ask questions without being censored or told you can't ask those questions or you can't talk about those things. Those kinds of things you can talk about on our forum, and we welcome you because we don't insist that anybody practice in any particular way except for from the heart. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you are a service to others practitioner of any kind, not just quantum healing, not just BQH, QHHT, if you're a Reiki practitioner, maybe you're a reader or a medium, maybe you do EFT or quantum touch, we would love to have you. Please join us at quantumhealers.com. Thanks. Bye. Have you liked the flowers lighting up over my head? I noticed it too. Bye.